Hello, my name is Aaron Callahan.
And my name is Cynthia Wong, and this is a presentation for Econ 155 on gold plating in college athletics. What is gold plating? According to dictionary.com, it is the incorporation of costly and unnecessary features or refinements into a product or structure. In its formal definition, gold plating is used to refer to the coating of cheap base metals to make them appear more expensive. In terms of higher education, this means making the institution more appealing to prospective students, alumni, and those with a general interest in the school. Usually, in order to attract attention to the university will highlight aspects that distinguish the university from its competing schools. This is done through emphasizing the success of their athletic programs or giving statistics about their academic achievements. Often, they will stress their accessibility to job opportunities given their location. For example, the University of Maryland at College Park is fairly close to the metropolitan DC area, and this allows the college to have easy access to various job opportunities.
Types of gold plating. In universities, gold plating is usually seen in four areas: athletics, networking and job opportunities, room and board, and new technologies. For athletics, gold plating could mean new facilities, new athletic gear, or just a more successful team in general. Given the anger over the Atlantic Coast Conference move to the Big Ten at UMD, it seems that students do decide on a college partially due to the prominence of their sports teams. And as far as room and board go, gold plating is prevalent in the institution's decision to upgrade their housing options, since students will base their collegiate decisions on how comfortable they will be in the dorms. And of course, colleges must take into account their stance on the technological world. Whether or not they are technologically savvy will affect the prospective student's decision. No one wants to go to a school where there's not free Wi-Fi. Universities have to keep with the advances in technology, but some will go above and beyond.
Now that we've described gold plating in the general sense as it relates to higher education, in the next few slides we will be placing our focus onto gold plating and college athletics. Specifically, we will be examining why colleges feel the need to gold plate their athletic programs and how the school as a whole is affected as a result of this gold plating. We will also be examining how this issue relates back to Econ 155 through the analysis of gold plating against the following question: what can be done to lower costs, improve quality, and/or increase quantity and access?
In 2010, the average Division I football school spent 6.7 times more money on each athlete than they did on regular students. In the Southeastern Conference alone, they spent 12.2 times more money on athletes than on regular students. As a whole, the NCAA spent more than $7.9 billion just on Division I football and basketball. And in 2010, monetary gains as much as $74,000 were believed to be associated with a one-win increase during the season. This means that for every additional game they won compared to the last season, they were expected to acquire $74,000. If these numbers still aren't surprising, chew on this. According to sports expert Dan Wetzel, in 2013, the University of Texas opened up the Weller Tennis Center, an $8.8 million tennis facility that improved upon the already esteemed Pennick Allison Tennis Center. That's $8.8 million spent on a facility that was already dubbed the most outstanding tennis facility in the nation.
So how can these schools afford to funnel so much money into their athletic programs? Where is this money coming from? Here's a table comparing the amount of money spent on the average non-athlete student compared to the amount spent on student athletes. As you can see, each conference spends at least 3.1 times more money on each athlete than they do each regular student. Colleges will gold plate their athletics for 4 reasons: to increase alumni donations and revenue from the sports, to increase the number of applications they receive every year, to increase prestige, and to increase interest in prospective students. Unfortunately, for the college to see these areas increase, athletic success is key. Thus, money is continually being spent on these athletic programs.
Often, so much money is being spent on the athletic amenities such that the athletes themselves are not being taken care of. This pertains to the amount of scholarships given to athletes, not the treatment they receive. The amount of athletic scholarships a college can give out is limited, so colleges find themselves dipping into other funds to recruit new athletes. At Division III schools where athletic scholarships can't be awarded, scholarships are simply granted under a different name: leadership. According to these colleges, these so-called leadership scholarships are given out as merit scholarships. Here's a chart showing exactly where these funds are coming from, and as you can see, a lot of the funds at D1 football schools are generated through ticket sales and NCAA TV agreements. In D1 schools without football, Student fees and government support make up the majority of the revenue.
When the athletic department faces a shortage in funding, they are left with two choices: cut the teams they can't afford or find funding elsewhere. Whereas some programs look towards fundraising as an option, some universities will even consider pooling funding from merit scholarships. So now there's even more money being put into athletics at the expense of education. Funding for certain academic necessities, such as better laboratories, are lost to sports programs that may not even generate enough revenue to cover the cost of maintaining the sport. Thus, revenue is lost, and one of the only plausible solutions is to increase tuition at the expense of everyone else.
The question now is, what can be done about this? As ridiculous as it sounds, one way to remedy this problem may be to increase funding for athletics even further. Slight tuition increases for the students may prove to be beneficial in both academics and athletics because if there's more funding for the athletics, this eliminates the need to dip into academic funding. Another possible solution may be to cut non-revenue teams altogether. These teams may be better off as club teams that require less funding. By cutting these teams, the university can focus more on bringing in revenue through their sports that actually generate funding. And lastly, universities should also consider adopting a more frugal approach to spending. That is, spend only on what you need and not what you don't. Imagine how much money would be saved if we weren't spending $8.8 million on tennis facilities every year. That surely would be enough to save more than a handful of athletic programs across the nation.